Could the Philadelphia Eagles be moving on from Nelson Aguilar before the final year of his contract? Well, according to Ian Rappaport on Wednesday, that teams viewed Aguilar as being one as a potential trade target. Now, I saw this yesterday, and I didn't know how I felt about this because, yes, if you have listened to me over the years, you have know that I have a very deep hatred for Nelson Aguilar, and I didn't like him, and I wanted him off the team. I wanted him cut before season started, and I wanted all this nonsense. And then Nelson Aguilar finally breaks out of his year and becomes the slot receiver that he's supposed to be. Obviously, he had a couple bad years, not living up to his first round pick that when we got him, and a couple rough years in Philly. I'm reading his numbers, 768 and 736 yards, and total of 12 TDs. But to his defense, really, I mean, it's not his fault. He played on the outside a lot. He wasn't really his true slot receiver potential, but is Aguilar, is he a trade target? And he's set to play on his 5th year of his rookie contract, which we will give. He's supposed to be making like $9.4 million. Are the Eagles really going to pay him almost $10 million for those types of numbers? The Eagles just went and got Deshaun Jackson back in the offseason. And probably because we went and got Deshaun Jackson in the offseason, and the fact that Matt Collins is coming back from injury, is the reason why teams are probably doing these, or just the buzz around, it's the NFL draft, everyone just thinks, you know what I mean? It's, like I said, the idea that we got a new contract for Deshaun Jackson led to the initial buzz of it, and it's just possible that teams are just looking in to see, because there's going to be people that are going to call for Nelson Aguilar because he's not awful. You know what I mean? You don't really know what a guy that hasn't produced 1,000-yard season yet is going to produce for you. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about this. I want Nelson Aguilar to be on the Eagles because of what he has brought, and he had a rough couple of years, but I'm starting to like the guy. I shitted on him and I hated on him for so long, it feels like, and now that finally there's a reason to get rid of him, I feel actually, I don't know. I'm very torn, and it seems like that's the consensus of a lot of Eagle fans. So, what if it does happen? Let's say it does happen on draft day. What's really going to happen? The obvious to me, the first thing I thought of was, let's trade him to Denver for Chris Harris Jr. The guy is begging for either a new contract or to be traded. I highly doubt they're going to give him a new contract. Swap some picks. Nelson Aguilar, they need a wide receiver. In my mock draft, I chose them to get a wide receiver, so why not give us Chris Harris, which we need a glaring need at cornerback. Apparently, that's what everyone keeps saying. But it would help. Problem is that we'd end up paying Chris Harris because he's going to want a new deal. So it's a very difficult thing. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's all mumbo jumbo bullshit. I don't see the Eagles trading Nelson Aguilar on draft day or after draft day. I don't see the Eagles taking a first. I 100% don't see the Eagles taking a wide receiver in the first round. And I don't see us reaching for a guy like a Paris Campbell, Hollywood Brown, Keneal Harry, or a Deebo Samuel with the second pick, with their second round pick, with their two, I believe we picked like within 4 or 5 of each other midway through the second round. I really just don't see us picking a wide receiver because we have the guys at the position. And but at the same time, I don't know if you haven't watched Philly 500's video on this, you should go watch it because he talks about Deshaun Jackson's getting older, and Alshon Jeffrey's getting toward his old. He's getting up there. He's going to be 30 years old, and no one really knows how Mac Hollins is going to work out. And eventually we're going to have to pay Zach Ertz, and eventually we're going to have to pay Carson Wentz, and eventually we're going to have to make all these monetary values. So shout out to Philly 500. If you've never watched him, please go over to him. He's a great dude, very funny video maker. And he's right. We have older guys, and maybe it's time. I never really thought about drafting a wide receiver at all this year. I mean, I know the Eagles will do it later in the draft, but I didn't think in the first 3 to 4 rounds we would. But with all the buzz and everything, it just seems like we are. So who knows at the end of the day? But honestly, could the Philadelphia Eagles really move on from Nelson Agolar in this draft? I guess we'll find out. So go Birds.